Good evening, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, together with the Presidential Communications Office.
We bring you the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and Presidential Broadcast Service. I'm Princess Habiba Saripauda.
And I'm Joe Fernandez from Radyo Pilipinas. Welcome to
Balitang Pambansa.
Tonight's headlines. The government will not object if former President Rodrigo Duterte surrenders to the International Criminal Court. The Marcos administration guarantees adequate funds for disaster response and relief efforts and continuous aid for victims of recent weather disturbances. The Philippines presents an improving trend among its neighboring nations with 9 to 10% credit growth, according to Bank of America Global Research. A big business organization lauds the signing of the Republic Act 12066, or the Create More Act, as it will help generate more high-quality jobs, attract more investments, and make the country more globally competitive. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. greenlights the utilization of homegrown machineries to bolster the agriculture sector and attain food security.
With the explosive admissions and even a challenge made by former President Rodrigo Duterte to the International Criminal Court, or ICC, to immediately conduct a probe on the alleged extrajudicial killings being linked to his drug war during the House Quad Committee hearing, the Marcos administration now leaves it up to the international investigating body to make its next move. PTV's Mela Las Moras has the full report.
Malacanang respects former President Rodrigo Duterte's desire to surrender himself to the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court, although the Philippines is no longer a member of the ICC. According to Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, the government will neither object to it nor move to block the fulfillment of Duterte's decision. But if the ICC refers the process to the Interpol, the domestic law enforcement agencies shall be bound to fully cooperate with them, pursuant to established protocols. The Department of Justice, for its part, is also in agreement. The DOJ reiterates that despite the withdrawal of the Philippines from the Rome Statute in 2019, the country remains a member of the Interpol. Thus, when requests are made by the ICC through the Interpol, and Interpol in turn relays such requests to our country, the Philippine government is legally obliged to accord due course to the latter by all means. Senate President Francis Escudero had also this to say.
Paano ulit i-operationalize ni Pangulong Duterte na madaliin yung ICC? Siya yung umalis doon. Hindi na bahagi ang Pilipinas ng ICC dahil sa kanya. Tapos ngayon, papamadaliin niya yung ICC?
Duterte's statement regarding the ICC emerged during the 11th hearing of the House Quad Committee today.
Bigyan mo ako ng pera, ako nang punta ng ICC doon. Ako na mismo magpa-imbestiga doon. Ang tagal nila, ha? I'm asking the ICC to hurry up. And if possible, they can come here and start the investigation tomorrow. This issue has been left hanging for so many years. Matagal man, baka mamatay na ako, hindi na nila ako maimbestiga. And if I am found guilty, I will go to prison and rot there for all time.
Following this, the former president made a series of admissions regarding the issues raised against him. He confirmed there was indeed planting of evidence during his time as mayor in Davao City, and he also confirmed the issue on the reward system. At one point during the hearing, he also admitted killing people before when the situation called for it.
Ako? Marami. Mga 6 o 7.
So
Ewan ko kung natuluyan yung... Ito sa totoo lang. Ito totoo lang, ha? Marami akong pinatay na pulis sa Davao na kriminal. Magtanong kayo sa Davao, mag-go around. Ano yun? Ako mismo ang talagang humirit. Harap-harapan.
For the first time, the families of alleged EJK victims were able to express their grievances and sorrow in front of Duterte. To this day, all they call for is for justice to be served.
Nanay po ako ng dalawang anak ko na pinaslang. Ano po yan? May 2017. Ito po ay isang security guard at ito naman po ay binata. Ang masakit po ay 4 po yung naiwan. Mahirap po sa amin talaga na hanggang ngayon po ay walang hustisya.
At the hearing, former President Duterte and former Senator Laila de Lima, one of his staunch critics, were seated right next to each other. De Lima directly denied the accusations made against her by the Duterte administration on the issue of illegal drugs.
Absolutely false. That is a fictitious, bogus allegation against me. Absuelto na po ako dun sa 3 dahil wala po akong kinalaman sa illegal drugs. Kasama lang ho yan sa naging propaganda nila.
From PTV, Melalas Moras for Balitang, Pambansa.
Typhoon, also internationally known as Uzagi, is less than 1,000 kilometers away in the South Pacific and closing in on the northeastern part of Luzon, just about the time it makes landfall somewhere in Isabela or Cagayan province tomorrow. Tropical storm Pipito, otherwise known Manye internationally, is forecast to enter the country's area of responsibility. PTV's Benji Durango has more.
Pag-asa provides a 24 to 36-hour lead time warning to the public for the approaching typhoons Ophel and Pipito, allowing for even earlier prep time. These are the 5th and 6th consecutive typhoons to hit the country. Some towns in Cagayan Valley are still recovering from floods when another typhoon threatens the eastern coast of Isabela and Cagayan. Due to the latest streak of typhoons, the public is befuddled and scratching their heads, wishing for more answers than questions.
Ang sinasabi pong track nung 3 bagyo, si Nika, si Ophel, and then si Manny, ay supposedly pare-parehas po. Bakit initially nga po pare-parehas siya?
Pag-asa explains the typhoon's track was initially headed north, away from the Philippines. However, a weather system is forcing the typhoons to cross northern Luzon.
Iniiwasan po ng mga bagyo itong reach of high pressure area. So dahil nasa northern part ito, hindi po ito makakilos ng pahilaga. More on pakanluran or westward ang nagiging pagkilos nito.
Research shows a similar scenario in 1948 when 6 typhoons hit the country in November. It happened again in 1956 with 5 typhoons. The formation of these typhoons is linked to the high temperature of the Pacific Ocean, particularly when it reaches 27 degrees Celsius. The intense red area in the Pacific Ocean, indicating high temperatures, is where the recent series of typhoons have originated. One notable change in typhoon formation is the decreasing number, which Pag-asa has tracked since 1948.
Yung bilang ng bagyo natin na pumapasok sa PAR ay bumababa yung bilang ng bagyo. Nagdi-decrease yung frequency. Pero in terms of intensity ng mga bagyo, yun po yung increasing trend nakikita natin. Mas nagiging intense ang ating mga bagyo. In fact, based po dun sa historical record natin, mula 1948 up to 2023 na mga bagyo, pinakamadami po ay ang typhoon category.
Fortunately, there's no amihan or northeast monsoon wind yet to push the typhoons further down. If the northeast monsoon is strong, Visayas or Mindanao might be hit. The DSWD has prepared 92,302 family food packs for Cagayan Valley and a standby fund of 2.2 billion pesos for typhoon-affected areas. Government's target, 0 casualty, no hunger. The additional aid includes over 80 million pesos, 1.3 million family food packs, and non-food items worth over 860 million pesos. The government aims for 0 hunger and casualties despite the series of typhoons hitting the country. From PTV, Benji Durango, Balitang Pambansa.
Various government agencies are already gearing up for the onslaught of Ophel in the northern part of Luzon. The developments to all these summed up in tonight's roundup by PTV's Charms Espina.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. ordered all concerned agencies to ramp up efforts to secure the country's ports ahead of the onslaught of Typhoon Ophel. In response, the Philippine Ports Authority issued a memo ordering all port managers to conduct pre-disaster risk assessment of port infrastructure, facilities, and equipment to identify vulnerabilities and ensure measures are done to ensure minimal disruption and damage. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or CAAP, is gearing up for Typhoon Ophel. CAAP Director General Captain Manuel Antonio Tamayo says area managers have been instructed to constantly supervise airports and ensure the safety of both the passengers and personnel. Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, Secretary Rex Gatchalian ordered more family food packs, or FFPs, be pre-positioned in northern Luzon. The DSWD chief says the agency has already anticipated the path of both Ophel and Pepito, so they saw the need to bring in more FFPs to their northern field offices. The United Nations, or UN, is hoping to raise $32.9 million for delivery of aid to communities that were severely affected by the recent weather disturbances that hit the country, the Philippine News Agency reported. Gustavo Gonzalez, UN Philippines and Humanitarian Coordinator, urged resource partners to rapidly support the HNP and get the necessary funding for the assistance needed due to the rare occurrence of a series of weather disturbances. From PTV, Sharms Espina, Balitang, Pambansa.
Meanwhile, Typhoon Ophel further intensifies over the Philippine Sea east of Aurora. The weather disturbance was last located some 425 kilometers east of Baler, Aurora, with maximum sustained winds of 130 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 160 kilometers per hour. Cagayan, including Babuyan Islands, the northern and eastern portions of Isabela, Apayao, and the northern portions of Ilocos Norte are placed under signal number 2. Under signal number 1 are Batanes, the rest of Isabela, Quirino, the northern portion of Nueva Vizcaya, Kalinga, Abra, Mountain Province, Ifugao, the rest of Ilocos Norte, and the northern portion of Aurora.
More about the weather. The application of AI technology to work and industry yields faster and better results. Weather forecasting is no different, as the scientists and meteorologists of Pag-asa see a huge clash in analytics time and calibrated responses cut substantially. Philippine Information Agency Davao Region correspondent Rudolph Alama has this report.
An artificial intelligence-assisted weather forecasting system currently being developed in the country will help many Filipinos in public and private sectors who are dependent on accurate weather forecasting.
We teamed up with Acto Incorporated to use artificial intelligence to really do big data analytics and make the analytics faster instead of every 3 hours, every 15 minutes.
According to Secretary Solidum, they could provide local government units more detailed weather-related information which could enable them to calibrate the response. The Science and Technology Secretary added that with the adoption of the AI weather forecasting, the Philippines is the first ASEAN country to do so.
Yung binanggit kong project with Acto Incorporated is just starting because we will be the first country, at least in ASEAN, to really be using all of this because compared to many other countries in ASEAN, we have lots of tropical cyclones, other weather systems compared to many other countries. And we're an archipelago.
The project, which is an engagement of DOST Advanced Science Technology Institute, is a 2-year program. Upon the development of a working prototype, Secretary Solidum sees it to benefit many industries aside from being just used for disaster mitigation and response.
In many other industries that can be assisted, for example, if you're an event coordinator and you want to schedule a garden wedding, so you can have more specific data. If you are organizing a golf tournament, you can also have a specific data. If you're in agriculture, you don't need to irrigate if there's a forecast of rain 10 days from now. Also, marami pong pwedeng paggamitan yan.
From PIA Davao Region, Rudolph Alama for Balitang, Pambansa.
Good news, the Bank of America, or BOFA Global Research, reported the Philippines is seen to have the most optimistic outlook for credit growth among Southeast Asian countries. According to BOFA, the country is the only ASEAN nation with an improving credit growth trend, reaching a recovery rate of 9 to 10%, showing slight improvement from current levels. This was driven by a rise in import growth and the net sales index, but partially offset by lower auto sales.
More business news. A big business organization has welcomed the clearer investment rules and improved fiscal benefits under the corporate recovery and tax incentives for enterprises to maximize opportunities for reinvigorating the economy or Create More Act. According to Management Association of the Philippines President Rene Almendras, the Create More Act will boost the country's global competitiveness by enhancing ease of doing business, fostering a supportive environment for investors, and attracting diverse job-generating investments for Filipinos. Almendras also expressed gratitude to President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. for enacting a law that reflects his administration's strong commitment to empowering the business sector and creating a supportive environment for businesses to thrive and contribute to the economy.
A high-ranking U.S. official is visiting the Philippines to strengthen trade and investment relations between the two nations, the U.S. Embassy in Manila said. Based on a report gathered by the Philippine News Agency, U.S. Undersecretary of Commerce for International Trade, Marisa Lago, will be in Manila and Clark, Pampanga until the 15th to highlight investment opportunities as part of a U.S. Smart Cities trade mission in the region. Her visit centers on identifying opportunities to enhance bilateral trade and investment with a focus on digital technology, infrastructure, civil nuclear collaboration, and support for women entrepreneurs. Lago will meet with ASEAN or Asian Development Bank leaders to discuss financing and investment opportunities in the Philippines and the region, and will attend a significant deal signing between trade mission participant Ultrapass ID Corporation and the Department of Transportation.
Up next, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. wants to deepen ties between the country and Hawaii, especially in tourism.
Several sectors join hands to restore Southern Leyte's coral ecosystem. More stories when Balitang Pambansa returns.
Ang agrarian reform program ay dapat magpatuloy. Agrarian reform is not only about acquisition, but also about support services and distribution. There will be more to come in Region 1.
Magandang hapon po, ako po si Aroli Macho, chairman po ng Bagong Samahang Ngayon Multipurpose Cooperative. Napakalaking tulong kasi hindi na po kami nag-hire ng pang-deliver at saka hindi na nade-delay yung ating delivery kasi dito na po yung binigay ng DAR na delivery ban po natin. Gusto pong magpapasalamat sa DAR kasi ang ating butihing sekretary, Sir Contrato Estrella. At saka sa ating butihing President BBM, salamat po sa tulong. Kung wala po kayo siguro na tumutulong sa amin, palagay ko wala din po ang Bagong Samahang Ngayon.
Good vibes ba kamo? Sagot namin ang umaga ninyo. Mula sa Balitaan,
makakakwentuhan natin ngayong umaga.
Bagong kaalaman,
Hoping for the success.
hanggang sa Unli Chikahan. Kasama ang RSP Morning Barkada. Rise and Shine Pilipinas. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 6 ng umaga. Dito lang sa PTV.
Time and again, the leader of the land has always emphasized the need to help the agriculture sector, which he believes will be very important to achieve food security. Thus, the President approved the program of the Department of Science and Technology that aims to boost the sector through the use of homegrown machineries. PTV's Kenneth Paciente has more.
To strengthen the agriculture and ensure food security in the country, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has approved the program of the Department of Science and Technology that will empower the agriculture sector through the use of homegrown machinery. The President approved the local manufacturing capabilities to support Agri mechanization program during a sectoral meeting he led at the Palace. The President pointed out this type of machinery is more cost-effective compared to the imported ones farmers use. He noted that these machines and tools have proven to be effective like the ones distributed by the government to farmers, such as towed machines used in harvesting. The DOST pointed out this shift to locally produced machinery will significantly impact not only the agriculture sector, but the manufacturing industry as well. According to DOST Secretary Renato Solidum, mechanization is a key factor in enhancing efficiency and reducing cost in farming, a point acknowledged by the Agriculture Department. That is why the DA provides equipment to farmers and cooperatives, especially through the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. He also stressed the agri-machinery sector should be further strengthened given the country's limited resources. In this way, more efficient farming practices can be promoted, which will enhance the productivity of farmers. The DA supports this program but points out the importance of identifying which machinery should be prioritized to ensure quality. Because of this, President Marcos Jr. directed the DOST, DA, and other research institutes to thoroughly research the agri-mechanization drive. He also ordered the proper implementation of the program. From PTV Manila, Kenneth Paciente, Balitang Pambansa.
Tourism, a shared pride. The two states mutually tout which nature has blessed more than others on the planet. A linkage President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is all too eager and to build on with America's 50th state where people from all over make their way there to rest, relax, and recharge. In his meeting with the delegates of the Pacific Century Fellow group from Hawaii, the President was upbeat in conveying his shared sentiment on boosting existing ties between the Philippines and the Aloha State. The group's founder, Mufi Haniman, a former mayor of Honolulu, is an active proponent of tourism and works hard to find ways to boost the industry. He also is a staunch supporter of the Filipino community and has time and again hired and appointed Filipinos to his staff.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. signed into a law 4 measures seeking to create and upgrade hospitals in various parts of the country. The Chief Executive signed Republic Act 12068, upgrading Bataan General Hospital and Medical Center in Balanga City to a multi-specialty hospital and expanding its capacity from 500 to 1,000 beds. RA 1269 on the other hand, 069 on the other hand, seeks to upgrade Dr. Catalino Gallego Nava Provincial Hospital in Jordan Guimaras to a level 2 facility, increasing its bed capacity from 25 to 500 and renaming it to as Dr. Catalino Gallego Nava Medical Center. The President also enacted RA 12070 and RA 12071 to establish Victoria City General Hospital in Negros Occidental and Laguna Regional Hospital in Bay Laguna, respectively.
Something to look forward to. A motley group of fisherfolk, environmentalists, and LGU officials in southern Leyte have banded together to revive and enrich coral reefs that provide sanctuary and nourishment to fish and all sorts of marine life. Philippine Information Agency Southern Leyte's Bong Pedalino has the details.
In a bid to revive the coral ecosystem, a new coral restoration project has been launched in Padre Burgos, Southern Leyte. The project brings together a diverse group of stakeholders, including fishermen, local officials, and environmental groups. One of the key methods being used in this restoration effort is the placement of cyclone wires on the sea floor, which serve as coral beds. Coral stone seedlings are then planted on these wires, with each seedling carefully secured in a recycled soft drink bottle filled with rocks. The process was first tested by Alan Binibusi 2 years ago. He planted corals on 10 cyclone wires, achieving an impressive survival rate of 94%. Local officials in Padre Burgos are optimistic that the project will not only increase coral coverage, but also enhance the biodiversity of the area, which is known for having some of the largest and most biodiverse coral reefs in the Visayas. For now, the people of Padre Burgos are working together, hoping their efforts will help restore the precious marine ecosystem that sustains their lives. From the Philippine Information Agency, Southern Leyte, Bong Pidalino for Balitang Pambansa.
Wow. First Lady Luis Liza Araneta Marcos has urged the Philippine film industry to unite in promoting Filipino talent on the global stage. She highlighted that promoting the Filipino creative industry internationally is essential not only to support Filipino filmmakers but also to foster national pride. Prominent creative industry professional Greg Garcia echoed the First Lady's sentiments, pointing out the remarkable influence of overseas Filipino workers across the globe.
Film buffs and creatives alike got to witness the premiere of 4 short films featured in the Cannes Film Festival featuring Dapitan City. Philippine Information Agency Zamboanga del Norte's Pamila Fumero has more.
Dapitan City once again makes an international name for itself after 4 short films featured in the Director's Fortnight section of the Cannes Film Festival in France starred not only the historic Shrine City, but also local Dapitanon talents. A project of the Director's Film Factory Philippines, the short films gave international filmmakers Ashok Vish, Lamor Picriti, Tan Siu, and Gogolorajan Rajendran, as well as producer Dominic Velinsky, the opportunity to discover and work with local talents and scenes Dapitan had to offer.
And Dapitan is really very welcoming. The people are really friendly, very nice, and we feel home here. And all the location is amazing.
According to Singaporean director Tan Siu, one of their challenges was to truly showcase Dapitan City. Meanwhile, locals and aspiring actors jumped at the opportunity to be part of such a prestigious project.
Dapat ang among pagpasalamat gyud sa paghatag ganing oportunidad nga mapakita dili lang diri sa Dapitan kung dili sa tibuok kalibutan kung unsay naa diri.
The 4 films Walay Balay, Nightbird, Silig, and Cold Cut were all shot and produced in different areas of the city, showcasing the different scenes and ambiences Dapitan has to offer. According to City Mayor Seth Frederick Bullet Halushos, this is just the beginning of his vision for Dapitan.
I dream of a future where we become a smart city, a smart heritage city, blending heritage and modernity in a way that enhances the lives of every citizen.
Through these efforts, Dapitan hopes to show the legitimacy of careers in the creative industries such as filmmaking and the performing arts. From the Philippine Information Agency Zamboanga del Norte, Pamela Joyce Fumero, for Balitang, Pambansa.
The Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, will further promote responsible viewing among the public following the signing of a Memorandum of Agreement with the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board, or MTRCB, Philippine Information Agency, and Office of the Executive Secretary. The Tara, Nood Tayo infomercial will be launched to promote the Marcos administration's Bagong Pilipinas campaign. This also aims to empower the public, especially parents, to take responsibility in guiding their children towards discerning viewing habits. The infomercial will be shown in cinemas before showtime and on television. It will also be uploaded on social media platforms, digital media, and traditional broadcast media.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. proclaims the 1st of August as Araw ng Paglalathala at Pagtatanyag ng Kasarinlan ng Pilipinas to commemorate the declaration of Philippine independence at the Bacoor Assembly on the same date in 1898. Republic Act 12073, signed by the Chief Executive on November 7, declares August 1 a special working holiday. Cultural agencies led by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts are tasked with highlighting the historical importance of August 1 and the 1898 Bacoor Assembly. President Marcos Jr. also signed RA 12067 designating February 24 each year as Araw ng Sibugay, a special working holiday in Zamboanga, Sibugay to mark its Foundation Day.
And that concludes our rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Joe Fernandez.
This is your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7.
Balitang Pambansa.